Okay, Anthony Echemendia. It is right before practice. It's early October. Season's coming up. So start with just how you're feeling right now in October before the new season.
Man, I'm just grateful, to be honest. It was a long injury for me. Like, it's gonna be almost a year without competing, and I've been putting in the work and just controlling what I can control. So I'm just extremely grateful that I get to be back on the mat.
What was the injury? What was rehab like?
Well, the injury was I sprained my ankle and I broke like 2 ligaments that support the ankle. And then they had to put a metal plate inside to keep everything together. And then I started training and it got infected, so I got a staph infection. And they had to do another surgery, and they said that if the staph infection went from the metal to my bone, they had to cut my leg off. So I had to, go immediately to the salon and clean that out, but they couldn't remove the hardware because when I got infected, the bone and the tendons, the ligaments weren't healed yet. So they had to keep that in there, and they had to put me on IV antibiotics that went from this dot right here straight to my heart for a month and a half, doing antibiotics for like a month for a month and a half, every 8 hours. And after the month and a half, I had to get another surgery and another surgery on the inside of my foot to remove the hardware and everything. So it was like 4 surgeries total.
Wow.
And rehab has been, really good. Tim Wisner, he's the man. He knows what he's doing, and I feel great. Not gonna lie, but I'm making progress every day, and my shape is pretty good. Just feeling strong, so we're doing really good.
Yeah, I had no idea. You hear so little about injuries that you just figure, okay, when will we see him again on the mat? It's kind of as like a fan or a journalist, that's all you think about. But that's a lot of stress on you and everybody else, your support group, and it's a lot of visits to the doctor, which are no fun.
It was crazy. Every Thursday I had to go and get this cleaned out. They had to remove everything and get it cleaned out and put a new dressing or whatever you want to call it on top. It was, it humbled me a lot because, when you're just showing up every day and sometimes you're tired of doing the same thing over and over, even though you love it, sometimes it gets kind of tiring. But when you're sitting out, it brings a lot of things into perspective because you're like, man, I really love this sport. And now that I can't do it, I'm just coming to practice and watching my boys scrub and putting in the work. I'm like, just bring me all the hard work you want, man. Bring it. Because I was sitting on a bed for 8 months with my leg up. I was like, man, I'm running. I don't like running, and dressers are always on me. Hey, you gotta run to be a national champ, and I bring all the running you want now. Because I'm able to run, and when I was laying down on that bed, I was like, man, if I could run right now, 10 miles a day, let's do it. But
when they take it away, then you get to know how much you really wanted it in the first place.
Exactly. So I'm really happy, man. Just grateful.
Nice. And this season coming up, are you going to have any more eligibility left with the medical red shirt, or is this your final shot?
Yeah, you're gonna have Anthony Echemendia for 1 more year, so.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
This is it.
No.
Oh, when you're red shirt junior. Okay, so that's cleared and that's gonna happen. So we got 2 years, 2 more shots. You made it to the podium before, but your ultimate goal is national champion, obviously, right?
Exactly. I'm going for it, and I wanna give back to Iowa State just the way that they did with me. I was here before, left, and then they just tested me and told me, hey, if you can prove to me that you deserve to be on this team and you earn it, we're gonna let you in, and that's the best way to pay them back, with a national title. So
yeah, and injuries obviously were tough on the team the last year, especially.
Yeah.
Guys out of the lineup, but lineup's looking real tough. We were just talking to Coach Dresser about the wrestle-offs that are coming up.
Yeah.
And just the wrestle-offs alone is like a big-time D1 duel. When you have multiple All-Americans in one weight class. You have, 3 or 4 guys in some weights scrapping and fighting for spots. So how's the energy with the team? How does the team feel going into this season?
Well, it's a competitive room, and Coach Dresser has worked really hard to make that happen. But the team culture is amazing, man. Like, I've been in other schools before, and I can tell you that the chemistry that we have here at Iowa State is really special. Like, even guys that are on the same weight class, we get along really well. And on the mat, you know how it is. It's a fight, but we're always hanging out. We're always listening to music together. We go to the SPC, like Sports Performance Center, together. We get food. We go Bible study together. So it's really nice, man. The team culture, like, we're hungry, but we're not here kind of like on our own spot trying to, do our own thing. Like, it's a family vibe here.
Yeah,
So,
it's an individual sport, but you're on a team, and you've got those team and that family relationship with everybody.
It makes it fun too. When you come to practice and in the locker room, everybody's vibing, everybody's listening to music, and you just relax. Like, you're not looking at the guy you're going against and be like, dude, I'm gonna kick your butt. Like, it's not. Inside you kind of feel it, but you know how it is. Like, it's very genuine here.
Yeah, able to separate the two things. And,
Yeah.
When it's time to compete, you're going to compete.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of competitions, you got a big one coming up. You and Younger are going to be at the NWCA All-Star Classic. It's happening in New Jersey at the Rutgers Jersey Mike's Arena. And you got a real tough opponent. You got Jesse Mendez.
Yeah.
That's a champ. That's a guy that's achieved what your goal is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you've had a pretty tough scrap with him before. I think it was 6'4". So, you put your hands on him. You got to learn from that. Well, I guess what have you learned from that, and what do you expect to do at that match?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna go out there and try to put on a show like I always go, and that's my goal all the time. And I've just learned that I had to get better on top bottom, and I have to ride guys harder. So I've been putting in the work on those areas, and that year was my first time going throughout the whole season, my first time. And I feel like I get better and better every time I step out there, and the more experience I get, the better version you're gonna see of Anthony Echemendia every time I step on the mat. So it's gonna be a good match, and it's gonna be a surprising match. So.
Do you like the environment where you can put on a show? Technically, it's an exhibition match. This won't count against your record going into NCAA seeds or qualifying, anything like that. Is it fun to go out there and have an excuse to let it fly and to do whatever move you want to do and really dig deep and find something, a way to excite the crowd?
Every opportunity that you get to wrestle is a good opportunity. Like I said, I'm here trying to work hard. I'm trying to have fun, and I'm trying to make good memories, because that's what life is about. You look back, and it's all about what memories you had with your team, what competitions did you go to, and how did you do, what did you learn from it. So every opportunity that I get to wrestle is a great opportunity, and I'm just gonna go there and just have fun, enjoy every second of it. And when I look back, I'm like, man, I remember when I went to the All-Star Classic, and I went to dinner, I warmed up with this guy, I wrestled Jesse Mendez, and then Jesse Mendez and I, 10 years from now, we're gonna talk about that match too, so it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, and you've certainly been on a journey so far. I recognize the shirt, Sunnyside. That was high school where you were at in Arizona.
Yep.
And that was, we at FloWrestling, we did the journey. We did the Anthony Echemendia story, so we're familiar with it, but if you could just kind of real quickly go back, you're from Cuba, and it wasn't an easy path to Iowa State. So, how did you get from Cuba to Sunnyside, and then you kind of touched on it. You were at Iowa State, Ohio State, now back to Iowa State. But that journey from Cuba to Sunnyside was not easy.
Yeah, I mean, I went from Cuba to Guatemala. I was representing the Cuban national team, and there I was, not even on the Flow film I shared this, because back at the time I wasn't comfortable sharing the real story, but I was just being a dumb young guy, and I was just partying that night with a bunch of people that were competing in the city where I was at. And I got on that bus, and I thought it was a party bus, and I got drunk and passed out pretty much and woke up 10 hours away from where the facility was. And then at that moment, I'm from Cuba, a communist country. You defect, and you're not just coming into the country that easy. They're gonna take some accountability, I would say, not to get into it too much, but it wasn't gonna be good for me if I went back, and I was only 18 years old. So I got in contact with my family, and we decided that the best thing to do was come to the United States. And I had to cross a jungle from Guatemala to Belize. I had to cross a river, long river from Belize to Mexico. Went all the way through Mexico, and I turned myself into the police border at the United States. And I spent 3 months in prison, and after that I found some folks that wanted to help me out, and they got me out of prison. And I got in contact with Fernando Villescusa. He's the Sunnyside, one of the assistant coaches at Sunnyside, and currently coaching here at Iowa State as well. And I spent a year there living with him and his family. They became my family as well. And I wrestled for Anthony Leon there, and Bravo, Roman Bravo, Grandpa, Ray Pina. There were a lot of amazing coaches there, man. They made it easy for me to adjust. It kind of got harder for me once I got out of high school, because I had to move to states that people don't really speak Spanish. But down in Arizona, I had a lot of friends from Mexico and all the community that spoke Spanish, so it was kind of easier for me to adjust. And after high school, verbally committed to Iowa State, left, went to Ohio State. Everybody knows that I went to jail there. I lost my scholarship, and I won the case. I cleared my name, but I had to go to a community college for a year to get my credits back. And after that year, I was eligible to get into Iowa State again, and they gave me that second shot. So I started coming here again.
And you've been making the most of it, and it definitely is not the typical path of most college wrestlers.
Nah.
But do you feel like there's a lot, besides your current mindset and being able to overcome adversity, but do you feel like it helped you mature in a lot of ways, and it helped you become a different kind of person that's now ready to compete at a high level here in a college environment?
What it has taught me the most is not seeking validation from people, Because back in that time, even FloWrestling, I was all over FloWrestling at that time. I got a Flow film, and I'm just a kid from Cuba that has no family here, so it felt good. Like reading the comments and being like, all these people think that I'm cool, all these people think that I'm strong, all these people think that I'm a good wrestler, so it felt good because everybody likes to hear those things. But after I went through all those difficulties, and I saw a lot of people that were praising me, turning their back on me even though they didn't know the real story, that made me realize that I shouldn't be trying to please people, and I shouldn't be focusing on what people say about me. I'm a Christian now. I've been a Christian for 3 years now since I came to Iowa State, and I got baptized in June 29th. So my identity is in Christ. I don't really focus on what people have to say. So that's what I've matured the most. Because back then I was that kid that felt like, oh, I'm so cool. I'm all over FloWrestling. But right now it's not all about that. It's about how can I make a positive impact in the people around me, and on the younger guys that are coming into this team, they look up to me because I'm on the wall. How can I set a good example for them? So that's what I've learned the most throughout the years. But
yeah, no, that's a very good point, and it's something we should probably be more aware of on the other side of the camera here. Is that when this is off and after we upload it and after we do all that, that's usually there's not too much follow-up. There's not a lot of, okay, how are things going, and how does that, anything that we do, a flow film or just a post on Instagram, can affect people. And yeah, it's different.
It's
It's not
different.
you don't know it until you experience it. So
Yeah.
we appreciate all those things that you've gone through, and still being able to sit down and chat with us,
Of course.
and then being welcoming to having us in your room and the practice room and all that. And we're also pumped to see you compete.
Thank you.
I'm curious if it's helped. I'm guessing it has, but there's more Cubans now on this team, probably than any other team. But it's it's got to be
that's
cool having other guys that. Your English is great, by the way, a lot better than
Thank
my
you so
Spanish.
much. Thank
but
you.
that I know that's not easy, learning a second language and that being immersed in it all the time.
Yeah.
But now you got some guys that are from your country. You got your little bit more familiarity with the culture that you grew up with. So tell me about that dynamic and all the guys that are here.
Yeah, the Cuban guys are amazing, man. They're just, we come from a third world country, and they're here at Iowa State now. So if you go back to Cuba, like RBY is currently in Cuba, and he is DM'd me on Instagram, and he goes, "Man, I have so much respect for you now knowing that where you come from." And I'm like, "Dude, you're seeing the best of where I come from. You haven't seen where I come from. I live 5 hours away from the facility you're training at, and he's training at the Olympic Training Center. So, like coming here, you get the filling station here. Like, you can grab Gatorade, snacks, all you want. Then you go and have a whole buffet. You can choose any kind of meat you want, salads, everything. And us Cubans here, like, you get to experience that if you go to a 5-star hotel. So I'm living in a movie for, like, literally, because in Cuba, like, being able to do the things that I do on a daily basis is like living in a dream. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take anything for granted. I mean, and if I find myself complaining about some little things, I just take myself back. I remind myself, hey, dude, like, chill out. You're from Cuba, all right? So you gotta you gotta appreciate what you have. But
well, it's a good lesson for all of us too, or people that have grown up in the U.S. should probably travel and go to other places and just get a little bit more familiar with where other people are living and other environments, because you can easily take it for granted that you have food, you have this, you have the facilities. I mean, they're building new facilities as you walk by. Iowa State really does do an amazing job keeping their athletes taken care of and providing a great environment for you guys to reach your potential, because you do a lot to represent the school and bring attention to it and bring fans and everybody to it. And I feel like our experience just visiting campus a little bit, they do a pretty good job with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the Cuban guys. We have some transfers too. They were in different schools, and when they start like learning about Iowa State, and they go to the Sports Performance Center, and they're like, man, like, you guys are like, if I had this like in the other school, I would have been so much better. Because it's true, like, you don't really know what you have until you go somewhere else, and you're like, oh wow, like, I'm actually blessed. But it's not just the Cuban guys. There are other guys that they're really grateful to be here because they didn't have that before.
Yeah, it's definitely some great facilities. And we'll see you guys be able to put it to good use out there on the mat pretty soon. Coach Stresser said it's going to be
it's going to be good.
A scrapping practice today. All right, just want to wrap it up with some cultural differences that you or can recommend, like food. What was your favorite thing to eat that you missed that you miss here that you had in Cuba? Like, is there anything cuisine, any kind of guilty pleasures?
Mama's food, man. Whatever she makes, she just puts that love into it that just makes a difference. You can eat in any restaurant or anywhere else, and the food might be good, but when you eat your mom's food, it's always gonna taste good.
What kind of dishes would she prepare? What kind of food would be typical for?
She's a chef, man. She's a big chef, so she would make really good soups. She would make like really good like rice and beans with any kind of meat. Like, she makes it really good, and I don't know, like, she just everything, like whatever she throws there.
You just know, you can tell.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really good. But feel like my favorite dish is the soup that she makes. She makes really good soups.
Nice. And
Yeah.
have you been to see your parents in Cuba, and have they come to the U.S. at all?
No, they haven't come to the United States, but I have been in Cuba 3 times in the past. It's gonna be 8 years now. I came at 18 and I'm 26. So it's gonna be 8 years since I came, since you guys did the Flow film when I was at Ohio State, so it's been like 4 years. Yeah,
Goes by fast.
it goes by so fast. That's what I'm saying, man. You can't just waste your time. Just have fun, work hard, and enjoy the process.
Absolutely. All right. And last question is, what about music? What was your favorite music in Cuba, and has your taste in music changed since you come to the U.S.?
You know what's funny, man? I grew up listening to Tupac because my dad loves Tupac. He doesn't speak English and he doesn't know what Tupac is talking about, but he would be blasting Tupac with his windows down throughout the Cuban streets. He just liked the flow. And, you know, when I came to the States and learned English and I was able to understand Tupac music, I used to like it back in Cuba because of my dad. My dad is my idol, so I've always wanted to follow his steps. And when I learned English and I was able to understand what Tupac was talking about, I can relate to a lot of his music, you know, because I feel like he tags real, like rough. I feel like street life, what he was going through during that time. And you know, a lot of rappers these days, they just sing whatever I don't know, whatever. They don't live that life.
Yeah, it's more about the bling than telling the story of like where
But
you came
you know,
from.
that's Tupac, you know, because I grew up with it. But I gave my life to Jesus, so I've been trying to slowly transition. It's not easy. It's not easy because, you know, Tupac doesn't glorify God at all. And I've been trying to slowly transition to, you know, gospel music, but it's not easy. You know, it's just,
It's different.
it's hard. It's different,
Yeah.
and I love it. I'm not gonna lie, but sometimes I wake up and I gotta hype myself up with some gangsta, you know, and
little
I just
bit.
throw Tupac on the aux. But yeah, those two, gospel and Tupac, doesn't match at all. But
It's a good mixtape, though. It's a good playlist.
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I know you got practice coming. We're going to talk to Younger
Sounds
next.
good.
So, anything else before we cut you loose? Anything you want to say to the people?
I just want to say that you guys are doing a great job promoting wrestling, and that people have to pay more attention to Flow Wrestling and be grateful that you guys are, you know, growing our sport because it's huge. You know, this is the first sport ever created, and we should get more validation. So I appreciate what you guys do, and thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. Grateful for you, Anthony, and look forward to watching you. NWCA All-Star Classic, November 1st. You can watch Anthony compete against Jesse Mendez. Should be great. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, guys.